So I'd like to call on stage the team that are going to do the robotics data and AI, the third plenary session, please.
Hello, everyone. I hope you all are having a lovely good morning. So to start the next session on robotics, AI, and drones, so we'll be having a discussion around the topic on the impact of robotics, data, and AI in drone technology, particularly in the South Asian context, and also around integration challenges, inclusivity, and the future of all these things in the same context. The discussion will also be in the terms of education, application, especially in terms of climate, disaster recovery, and challenges that we have seen on the way and how we are going to overcome those. So to set up all this discussion, I'd like to invite Mr. Uttam Pudasaini, co-founder of Noxa Private Limited, to set up the grounds for discussion and for a brief presentation on the topic.
Hi everyone, good morning and namaste. I am Uttam Pudasaini from Noxa Private Limited. Thank you Nosala for the invitation, and I'd like to thank World Bank for providing this opportunity to share on the topic, on the very interesting topic, how robotics, drone, data and AI contribute to the advancement of the drone. It was great to hear about different examples and applications from different countries in South Asia regarding how drones as a technology is driving different sort of innovative applications. So in my presentation today, I'll try to take you one step ahead. What is the current status in the South Asian context, particularly around this three very interesting and innovative new technology. So what we'll be doing is we'll try to explore how robotics, data, and AI combined together is converting drones from simple flying machines to intelligent agents of change. And I'm using the term intelligence because through the use of AI, drones nowadays are turning into intelligent devices. And as you can see on the slide, enabled by robotics, powered by data, and driven by AI, we are seeing new and new applications evolving, particularly in the drone industry. And if we try to explore this from a very big picture, what I often call as the drone trinity, then robotics, it's like the body of the drone, which makes the drone able to conduct different physical operations. Data is like the brain of the drone, because of which the drone is able to perform different activities. And then AI is sort of like intelligence. So let's now explore what robotics, data, and AI is doing for the advancement of the drone technology. But before doing that, let's try to have a quick look at how these three different elements are evolving in the South Asian context. So if you look in the early 1990s, drone applications were mostly limited in military applications. So back at that time, the robotics, data, and AI component were very in the early stage and mostly focused on military applications. There was no almost non-existent AI-related elements in the drone. But from the year 2005, drones began entering civilian and academic applications. So at that time, we saw drones being able to perform surveying and mapping missions, and they were being experimented for a lot of different research and innovation sort of applications, particularly in the academic domain. But the year 2015 to 20 is particularly interesting because during that time, there were a lot of applications of drones and a lot of applications and also a lot of use cases which were experimented in multiple sectors. And also, if you look at the advancement of AI, particularly in the South Asian regions, during this time, you see a lot of automation sort of applications happening, particularly with the use of the drones. And since the year 2021, there has been a boom in the application of AI, and we see, like, even outside in the stall, we see DJI dock stations and those sort of devices coming in to use in different application sector. So now let me start with the first element, which is robotics, the body of the drone. And as I said earlier, because of the robotics, drones are able to perform different physical operations, like doing the takeoff, hover, land, and also carry different payload. And if we look at the current context of robotics in the drone, then there are three things we need to understand. So because of the advancement in the robotics, drones nowadays have advanced stability and also flight capabilities. It's not very difficult operating a drone because due to the advancement in robotics, they can just do different sort of autonomous operations. There has been a lot of innovation around autonomy. But what I would say is that is particularly limited to the technological side of it. There are some challenges in implementation, particularly in the civilian sector. And the third thing we need to understand why drone as a technology is becoming popular is because it can carry multiple different types of payloads. So the payload can be a camera, it can be a sensor, or it can be like a medical item that is transported from one place to another. So these are basically like the three different advancements in the robotics that is happening. But with this new advancement happening, there are also a lot of challenges. And as I mentioned just now, even though technologically autonomy is there, but civilian applications has there is limited autonomy that is allowed in the civilian sector, considering the safety and operation of the drone. And I just mentioned that the ability to have dynamic payload is an advancement, but at the same time, it's a challenge because a drone can only have like one sort of a payload attached to it. There are very limited drones that can do dynamic payload because of which the application is being limited. And also when we talk about like fixing another sort of a robotic arm to a drone, even in that space, there is limitation in terms of interchangeability of the robotics arm. For example, if I have a drone that can carry some like payload, it becomes very challenging to attach another arm. So that sort of dynamism, if it exists, then it will bring in a lot of new sort of applications as well. Let's try to look at some of the new applications on how robotics are shaping the drone operations nowadays. I gave the example of the autonomous docking devices that are being used in different sectors. So what I see in the future happening is a lot of construction projects and a lot of projects that requires periodic monitoring. We are going to see a lot of this sort of drones being used without human interventions, being able to do a certain mission over a specific area that is selected. The second area where I see advancement in robotics is in collaborative swarms. So nowadays we see drone shows being a part of many events. Just imagine a situation, let's say there is a flooding in southern part of Nepal. So in that context, if we have a collaborative swarm of drones capturing images in the flooding area and the drones communicating to one another and supporting the search and rescue missions, then those are the sort of the applications we want to see evolving with the advancement in robotics, particularly in the humanitarian sector. The third one is around precision payload handling. And there is an interesting example from Nepal where we tried to deploy a drone for medical cargo operation, and because the health facility had such a limited space, we had to implement a precision landing sort of a device. So with all this sort of advancement happening, there is a lot of like cargo delivery and cargo transport sort of applications evolving in the future. Another area which have been a hype for quite a long time is drone-based mobility and public passenger sort of like transportation. I don't think it's going to be a reality in the immediate future in South Asia, but we are seeing a lot of promising startup in India and Bangladesh, and even in Bhutan, like my friend Anuj and the team, they are working on like these sort of drones that can carry passengers. So there are a lot of experimentation that we are seeing happening, but in terms of actual implementation, I think it's going to take some time. Now let's talk about the second component of the drone body. If we consider a drone as a living organism, then the second component is the data, which is like the brain of the drone. And And a drone as a technology is becoming popular because it has the ability to carry different kind of payloads and sensors, which results into different kind of data sets, which is helping solve problems in different contexts. So when we talk about data for drones, there are already dozens of examples that we have been seeing since yesterday. So I'll just summarize the key 6 areas, particularly in the South Asian region, where the data is creating a value. For example, surveying and mapping is in number 1, urban planning, disaster risk reduction, environmental conservation. And I found some very interesting examples happening in Maldives, like drones being used for coastal monitoring and this sort of activity. So there is a lot happening with the application of data, particularly in the drone sector. And yesterday we heard from the municipal government in Nepal how they are using drones for house addressing. We heard some example from Namo Drone Didi program in India, how they are using it for pesticide and insecticide spraying. The third component of the drone body is the AI for drones that gives the drone the intelligence. And I'd like to focus more time here because it's all about like what's happening with the input of AI in order to help drones make smarter decisions. And here there are like, again, 4 or 5 different things that I have found very interesting. And the first one, coming from a geospatial background, is the ability of the drones to track and identify objects in real time. And we have seen the applications in transportation sector, the applications in disaster risk reduction and management. So with the implementation of AI and machine learning, we are seeing these sort of examples. And drones nowadays, they can like design their own path. And as the drone is flying, if it finds an obstacle, the drones nowadays have obstacle avoidance mechanism, which makes them capable of changing the flights in real time when they are in the mission. So these sort of like applications are make a drone a very smarter sort of a device. Another interesting example, again from Maldives, is a World Bank Finance Digital Maldives project that I found about. And because of the advancement in the drone, nowadays we are capable of merging data from multiple sources. So you can merge satellite data, drone data, and even data sets from, like for example, Edward yesterday mentioned about how they are combining street imageries with the drones and satellite to generate like city level sort of a 3D mapping. So there were similar sort of examples are evolving nowadays, like merging multiple sort of data sets and then coming up with insights in near real time. So though there are these sort of advantages, there are a lot of challenges, particularly in the South Asian context. So when I talk about challenge, I have to be cautious because in India, we are already seeing a lot of this advancement happening. So this might be a challenge for other parts, other countries in the region. But one of the major challenges that I personally have experienced is fragmented ecosystem. When we talk about like whether it's data or it's about the companies or it's about association, the ecosystem is very fragmented. So because of that, we do not have like a vibrant ecosystem that is promoting and also like advocating for increased applications on AI for drones. Another is the limited infrastructure. So recently, when we worked on Jajarkot earthquake, we are very thankful to Jio Nadir, who provided us with access for processing the drone imageries, but it took us almost 5 days to upload the data online. So even though the technology is there, sometimes due to limited infrastructures, we are not able to utilize the full potential of AI. And also in terms of capacity, again, excluding countries like India, where we have a lot of like human resource capacity evolving, there is limited capacity also that needs to be like where we need to work on. Another thing is particularly in the humanitarian and disaster management sector, ownership of the data is a major concern. When we talk about AI, who owns the data when you are particularly operating in a, let's say in an earthquake affected community? Is it the community or the local government or you as a drone company? That's a challenge. There is an interesting example. This is not a drone image, but we are working on like global geo AI models and trying to do feature extraction for buildings in Nepal. But one of the major limitations in South Asian context is whenever we try to apply the global geo AI models, we don't have properly tagged, labeled data sets for training the AI models, particularly in the region. So we worked in Nepal and Bangladesh, and then the whatever labeled data sets we had was not enough. So we as a South Asian region need to work more on creating labeled data sets for the South Asian context so that we can utilize the value technologies like AI is bringing. And again, as I mentioned earlier, talking about the future potential, I would like to see more and more sort of like applications of AI in drones, not just in doing the object identification, but also doing the classification in real time. So let's say there is an earthquake, and then we are able, through the application of AI, like how many buildings are damaged, what is the damage category. And also, I'll quickly give a context. Let's say there is a flooding again in far western part of Nepal. So with the onboard processing capability of AI, what we'll be able to achieve is like almost real-time sort of a data and insights to the ground, to the people who are operating in the ground. So there are a lot of like potentials. There is another example, but I'll skip it considering the time. So coming to the conclusion, I'd like to conclude with 3 points on what South Asia needs to do. And the first point I want to emphasize is we need more South-to-South collaboration. There is a lot we can learn from India. There is a lot we can learn from Maldives, from Sri Lanka, and other examples that we heard yesterday. So I think this forum could be a starting point to engage in the South-to-South collaboration. And we have the Flying Lab Network, where the main core of our existence is to enable this sort of collaboration. First, we all need to work on, as the speaker in the morning rightly mentioned, as the industry, we need to work together with the government to come up with enabling policies, making it easy for the business to operate, and at the same time, making it easier for the government to monitor the activities. Second, we need to democratize data and AI talent. It's about investing on like building more talents, and also I was talking with the Mukesh sir from Civil Aviation, and he was like, mentioning seeing all of these different examples. I think we need to have a South Asian sort of a training academy like African Drone Data Academy that works to generate more talent in the region. And the third one is about strengthening the local innovation ecosystem. And the ecosystem is a diverse thing. It's not just about investing money on generating more talents, but it's also about supporting the local startup so that together we can work on solving the problems of the region. Thank you, and if you have any questions, we can take on. Thank you.
So maybe we can take all the questions that we have at the end of the panel as well. For the meantime, I would request Uttam Dai to actually stay in the one of the seats as well. So thank you, Uttam Ji, for giving such a simplified and interesting sort of foundational knowledge around the topic, and to discuss, although his presentation was much more simplified, I know the topic itself is much more complex when it comes to such futuristic elements of it. So to further this discussion, I would like to invite the panelists that we have here for this panel, starting with Mr. Bikas Gurung, President of Robotics Association of Nepal. I would like to invite them to the panel. Mr. Edward Anderson, Senior Disaster Risk Management Specialist from World Bank. Professor Lafifa Jamal from University of Dhaka, who's also Department of Robotics and Mechatronics Engineering. Mr. Mrinal Pal, co-founder of Skylark Drones. Ms. Nisara Jayasinghis, Senior Surveyor at Suleco Private Limited, Sri Lanka. And last but not the least, Ms. Sadia Habib, Director of Robotics and STEM at Pakistan. Hello? Okay. Yeah, so furthering the discussions that have been led by our Uttam Dai as well in the topic, just wanted to ask if you have any comments onto the presentation that has always been shared, if any of you have any comments to add on to that. Yeah.
Hello. A wonderful presentation from definitely Uttam. Uttam has been in this drone sector for a while now. But from Robotics Association of Nepal's perspective, drone is itself aerial robotics. So, definitely we might define it, the body, only as a robotics, but the drone itself is a flying robot that we say. So I think with the flying robots, there is so much of the possibility that might come, and I think it has definitely opened the avenues for the human beings to explore the unlimitedness, and I think that's where the direction would go in this panel. Thank you.
So without much further delay, I would like to start with the questions as well. And to start with something around, let's start with education. And to start the questionnaires, I would like to ask Professor Lafifa Jamal, in terms of academic perspective, how can universities and research institutions foster innovation in the integration of AI and robotics and drone technology?
Yeah, thank you very much. And especially I would like to thank the organizers to have this opportunity to present this as to be in this session, and especially like in this session and for last 2 days. So we have people from academia, from industry, from NGOs, from the governments, from CAs. So it's really a wonderful opportunity for us. And now I come to the question, like it's really, we have very pivotal opportunities, especially from the academia. So to integrate research and innovation in AI, robotics, and drones. And for this reason, actually, we need to take some steps from the academia. So one is the like we need to establish interdisciplinary research lab. So if I say about in the context of my countries, we do a lack of interdisciplinary concepts. So like when I am talking about my department, the robotics and mechatronics engineering, especially the lab opportunity is limited to the students of my department only. So even not with the other students from other departments of my university rather than other universities. So it's actually we need interdisciplinary collaborative research lab. So where the people like from the software engineering side, from AI side, and also from the mechanical engineering. So everyone actually can collaborate and do their research. And another thing is that I think that we need a strong industry-academia collaboration. So it's really important. So mostly we find that yes, the students are doing on some projects. Mostly they are limited to publishing some papers or to get their master's degree or something like that. But in most of the cases, we don't find that it is materialized or used in the industry. So industry-academia relationship is very much important, and also the relationship with the government. So we do have a lot of problems, local problems, that can be solved with drone technology. So if we work closely with the governments, so I think it will open a new window for us. And especially, so Uttam also mentioned that we have some policy level problems. So it's really difficult to work in some areas. Like if I say about my university, it's in the capital city and it's in the heart of the capital. So it's really difficult to work with this drone technology because sometimes we have some policy level problems. And also the problems with the limitation of payloads and other things. So I think that for academia, for research purpose, we should have some policies that will actually promote us to do research in drone technologies. So this other thing, and also like, also in my last, yesterday's presentation, I mentioned about the underrepresented group, especially the women. So yeah, we do have a very good gender balance in this panel, and also like in the last 2 days, we are saying this, but actually the scenario is not like that. So we can promote students, especially female students, by giving scholarships, so that we actually have a gender balance in the research of AI, robotics, and drone technologies. And I believe that our advancement not only depends on only the technology skills of the people. I believe that the people who are socially conscious, they are actually can play a pivotal role. So when we're seeing that in the South Asian context, the collaborative work and also like teamwork, this is very much important. So networking opportunity, so it can be explored by the academics, like so that the students, so here I find that there are a lot of students from Nepal actually present here. So they are getting the opportunity to know about this. So actually, so we can, if we can arrange this type of programs in different countries, so that actually the people of the South Asian can have a very good understanding that what's going on in other countries and how they can collaborate with each other. I believe only one people or only one scientist or only one institute cannot do anything alone. So we do have, we do need a collaborative approach.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Lafifa. So Uttam also briefly talked about South-South collaboration and everything in the same ground. And Lafifa also mentioned something around gender equality in the field. And Ms. Sadia, who has been a strong advocate of the same thing and also been involved in education, what initiatives and programs are involved in to ensure that there is inclusivity and diversity in the field?
Hello, everybody. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
So I would like to thank the World Bank and Nepal government for giving us the opportunity to collaborate and to meet people and to learn from their experiences. And I truly believe that collaboration do wonders. And this platform is, is an example. So when I started off in 2003 with the RoboFort Center for Engineering and Robotics, the idea was not to teach technology to students. The idea was to introduce them to the project-based learning. So it's a term that is called PBL, which is project-based learning, to teach them to use technology in the right way to deal with the real-world problems. So, and I truly believe in diversity and inclusion. I have been working with the DAI to design the STEM curriculum for teachers and schools in Mauritania. And I worked as the international curriculum designer for them. So I have been training different students, I have been inviting different schools, I have been collaborating with the top engineering universities, sending my students to interact with those students. You see, this is a way to giving them an opportunity and a platform where they can integrate different fields of technologies. Also, giving an opportunity to students to explore new platforms. Recently, one of the students, I mentored one of the students who was working on the autonomous drone to detect carbon emission, and we qualified for the Asia Pacific Award for that. So it's about giving him the opportunities, and once a student sees his work live, he actually stops being passive learner. He becomes a creator, he becomes an innovator, he becomes a problem solver. And that's what we actually want, and that's where STEM comes in. So we are actually making them aware of the real world problems, giving them the confidence, enabling them to deal with these problems and to shape the future. So I think diversity and inclusion is something we really need to work on. But yes, there is one thing, as Lafifa mentioned, that funding is required. So there are so many opportunities that sometimes we miss out because of the lack of funding from the government level. So maybe if the government can help us out funding these projects, or funding, or let them go and explore, and maybe South Asian Forum can help us out in that, and we can reach out to some entity. So if we really want to be part of a project, but we lack funding, so maybe we can reach out to this entity, we come to this platform and say, we have this opportunity, we really want to come up and execute this idea, but we don't have the funds, enough funds to support the idea. So maybe this platform can help us in that. Thank you.
Thank you, Sadia. So coming back to Professor Lafifa, we talked about making sure the education is also in the same standard as the industry. So what kind of skills do the next generation of engineers need to focus on to meet their newest industry standards? And also at the same time, what can we do to ensure that there's equitable access to the knowledge and the skills as well?
Okay. So as it is mentioned that nowadays actually everything is actually dominated by the AI technology. So I think the students need to be skilled with the AI technologies. So not only with the AI tools, but also in terms of different technologies like they can AI optimize algorithms. So actually how they can optimize the AI algorithms, like the obstacle avoidance, and also on the swarm robotics, also in the vision. So when we are capturing different type of images through the drones, so we need to actually process those type of images. So we need to get some data from these images. So it's we also need to be equipped with different type of machine learning algorithms, which can be used in like computer vision. So they need to be equipped with this. So I think so not only in terms of software. So sometimes we build the body of the robots or the drones. So the drones are the flying robots. So it's obvious that everyone will not have the all type of knowledge. So it will be a teamwork. Some will be equipped with software-based knowledge. Some will be equipped with like electronics knowledge in the mechanical side. So I think so if we have a good team collaboration, so a team can go forward with the different type of technological knowledge. And also another important thing is like the data security. And data security must be ensured to work with this type of technologies. And also another thing we find missing is that the lack of sharing of data. So no, it's not only in between the cross borders, also like we find that in a same country, sometimes we don't share the data. And in that case, like that the two teams are working in different institutions and they are just capturing the same type of data. So if we have a centralized data server where we can ensure the data privacy and also we can ensure the data will be shared with the designated stakeholders. So actually everything is data driven. So we need to have these technologies so that we can share the data in between different countries, especially for the research purposes. So I think it should be ensured. And also we need a strong soft skill for the collaboration and networking. So whatever we do, networking is very much important. So I think it's really important. And other things that we can arrange different type of hackathons, data-driven hackathons for drones. So it could be in between cross-border technology.
Thank you. So we are here as a very large network from all around the world as well. So coming a little further from the education on the application side of things, I want to ask Sadia around the role of robotics and STEM, in your role of robotics and STEM in Pakistan. How do you see the integration of AI and robotics happening and how it is transforming different industries across Pakistan and also in South Asian region?
So as we have witnessed in Uttam's presentation, amazing presentation by the way, so we have seen how technology has evolved over the years and how things are changing and how we are adapting to this change. Similarly in Pakistan and across South Asia, we have seen how robotics and AI has been shifted from being futuristic to being deeply practical. Just like in agriculture industry, we have been witnessing different examples since yesterday. So we came across agricultural drones where farmers are being equipped, they are being trained to work with the AI-driven drones to monitor the crops, to monitor the water usage, and to spraying the pesticides, and that's the real impact of technology. Similarly, when it comes to logistics, we have seen that delivery drones, they are being covering distances that are hard to reach. So similarly in robotics, when he was talking about robotics for drones, that makes complete sense because all of these factors integrate together and come up with the best possible solutions. But what excites me the most is that it's not just machines, it's not just technology, it's about people. And it's about our community, it's about training the community, it's about giving them the opportunity to get into new jobs. So this technology is also creating new jobs for our people, for our community. And they are being trained, they are being enabled to make the best use out of it. So they are being trained to use the technology in the right way. and to shape up the future. And South Asia is not just adapting to the change, but we are leading it, I would say.
Thank you, Sadia. So coming into the more Nepalese landscape, because a lot of our audience are also here from Nepal, I want to ask Engineer Vikas, in terms of how do you see the integration of AI and robotics transforming the Nepalese landscape? And I guess Uttam has already presented a little around the same topic as well.
I think, AI is getting really instrumental in terms of how the overall progression of robotics is happening. Nepal definitely is showing a lot of promise. As you can see, a lot of showcases in our exhibitions. So the direction where the world is going and the direction Nepal is trying to take, there's definitely a gap, but I think Nepal is definitely making its message to the world that we are also trying to build upon our own solutions. For example, Robotics Association of Nepal, with support from UNDP and DCRL, we were able to build this seed bombing drone. And this seed bombing drone that we tested in Baglung and Khotang, we got requested after its successful usage from Bolivia. They wanted to implement it in Bolivia so that the successful implementation that we did can also be replicated there. And definitely Uttam and other teams are also working from Nepal to the other part of the world with different drone solutions. I think that shapes the message that Nepal is definitely showcasing its way. For example, we are also organizing a lot of robotics competitions, definitely in which we have these drone racing competitions, Copter, pesticide spraying drones competitions, and we have been able to bring the representatives from South Asian countries to come and participate. So the ecosystem that is evolving here is also becoming appealing to the global world. And in terms of also the knowledge, I think Nepal is also showcasing a good progression. But definitely on AI, definitely on the robotics arms, and definitely in terms of new technologies like SLAM. These are being implemented in the drones that are being developed here in the country. For example, the VTOL technology that is being now with the Nepal Army. I think that's also a good sign that even the Nepal Army is also using these technologies for their purpose, even for the safety. Also, when we were approached, it was mostly for wildlife, wildlife to chase or to navigate them. So, besides, I think we have also seen progression in terms of how we can also leverage drones for the policy making. To also aware our government people, politicians, how a drone can be used in our own local scene. That's where like the municipalities are using it for the better purpose. We have been continuously awareing our government. The current Prime Minister, KP Sharma Oli, he was able to use our drone to inaugurate his provincial assembly. And then at that time, he was really amazed, because he was using the remote control and showcasing their UML flag. And we have been also able to use such kinds of drone for flower showering. And I think that shapes the whole direction, because it's important to aware these kinds of politicians on what are the applications. Definitely, different examples were already highlighted in terms of landslide mapping. We did some works with the NDRRMA in Baglung 4 years back in terms of what kind of damages were done. And definitely, seed bombing drone, as I already mentioned, we have already used a few examples from NEA as well. This showed a few of their work, right? So there is a really good promise, and these drones now also are being used for the entertainment purpose. For example, during NSL, one of the biggest super league, that's also happening right at the moment. Last year, we were able to use the drones to drop the ball and give it to the referee. And this year as well, during the KPOLI Cup, so one of the team from the robotics ecosystem, they were also able to use this customized mechanism to again give the ball. So for this purpose, different prospects has opened, but definitely a long run to go in terms of air mobility that Uttam has already mentioned.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Vikas, for answers as well. So going into more particular applications, Mr. Mrinal Pai, your company, Skylark Drones, provides solutions around asset management in industries like mining and power lines. So how has AI-equipped drones revolutionized the way that these industries run in terms of data analytics and operations efficiency as well? And if you could share any beautiful use cases around the area.
Sure. First of all, thanks for having me. I'm Rinal Pai. I represent Skylark Drones. We are a drone solutions company based out of India. I also represent DJI, us along with our partner Thakral Corporation. We are exclusive master distributors of DJI for South Asia, including India, Pakistan, Bangladesh, Nepal, Bhutan, Maldives. I believe DJI in commercial drones is not just a category leader, but a category creator. When it comes to commercial drones, which is drones used for surveying, security surveillance, inspections, crop spraying, logistics, I think inherently the market need is a solution, right? Which is drones, the hardware, specialized industry-specific softwares, and in most cases also services. Training service, after-sales service, drones as a service delivered by service providers. Right? This inherently is the market need for all sorts of commercial drone applications. And when it comes to drones, the software, these are industry-specific and are inherently AI-enabled, AI incorporated. And we see this in plenty of applications across various geographies and definitely more so in South Asia. To cite certain case studies, examples, probably one in which we were directly involved was the National Solar Rooftop Assessment Project that recently concluded in India. This was to conduct a solar rooftop potential of residential commercial properties in 120 cities across India, which is millions of households. And to be delivered in a 3 months short timeline period, right? And this involved flying hundreds of drones. And this, right, involving with the traditional methods of flying a drone, processing a data, digitizing the rooftops, conducting the calculations and everything would require hundreds of people to digitize, to calculate and everything. But this was done, executed within the short timeline because of AI, right? Because you could now digitize the data set in a very short timeline. You could carry out calculations in no time. And this data is already live on the National Solar Rooftop portal in India. And within, say, solar, right, and Uttam mentioned about dock drones. What we are seeing with dock drones is it's totally a game changer for commercial drones, right? Customers who are using drones for, say, asset inspections, were doing it once in 6 months, once in a year, are now doing it every day, right? They're inspecting their solar panels every day, because now this AI-enabled software turn around this data in a matter of minutes or hours, right? And that kind of a transformative phase, a beginning of that transformative phase where the data is becoming more real-time, the hardware is a lot more powerful. What we're seeing with the dock drones or even the manually operated drones are high computational devices, right? With DJI, to cite example, the Matrix 4T, the latest drone, right? The remote controller is a powerful computer. Right? And so is the docking station, the DJI Dock 3, for example, right? And we are just at the beginning of that transformative phase in commercial drones.
Thank you so much, Mrinal, for your answers. Ms. Nishara Jasinghe, you also are working as a senior surveyor, and your company Sulika has many applications in different areas as well. So, what role does AI play in improving the accuracy and efficiency of the service that you're doing, and what specific applications do you see making real impact in the world?
Good morning, everyone. It's truly a privilege to be here and represent Sri Lanka in this exciting discussion. And if I come to my question, as a surveyor, when we integrating drones in surveying projects at the beginning also, it's a game changer. But believe me, real transformation began when the AI came to the play. And explained like how easy it is to data collection part with the AI and the robotics approach. And when it's come to the surveying, data collection part is not the most hardest part. Actually, the processing part and getting result is the most difficult part. When we processing the data, when we manually processing data, it will take days, even sometimes weeks, when we do it manually. But because we have to separate the vegetation and the ground manually, each from all the sections. But when it's come to the AI-based point cloud classification tools, it's really easy actually. It can do within hours. Earlier it took days and weeks, but using the AI-based tools and the tools, it can done within hours. So it's really easy, and as well as it's not save our time, and also it gives the better results as well. And as well as for the digitizing purpose, we can use the feature extraction tools. We can automatically extract the buildings, roads, kind of features very easily using these AI-driven tools. So in my experience, I can say it's really easy, and it reduced the manual data processing more than 50%. Thank you.
Thank you so much. So coming into another application of the AI-powered drones, I want to ask Mr. Edward Anderson, with your experience in disaster risk management across Africa, Caribbean, East Asia, what role do you see AI-powered drones doing in the evolvement of in the disaster preparedness and also responses in the regions, and especially in terms of real-time data analytics and decision-making in the disaster risk management?
Yeah, thank you for the question, and thanks for all the panelists and Uttam. I'd like to make a general observation before I come specifically to disaster risk. And I think that observation is that successful digital transformation isn't just about new technology and data. We also have to identify the organizational reform that goes with that, the business processes changes, because I think the relationships in the production cycle change when you have new productive tools like what we've just heard with AI. So in the case of drones being a largely consumer tool and the commoditization of a lot of global AI models, you might call them Earth intelligence models that can help you segment features, identify traits, predict crops, infrastructure, buildings, etc. The comparative advantage to sort of experiment with that isn't really in the limited capacity government agencies with a sort of mandate to deliver on business as usual. It's going to be the startups, it's going to be research institutes. So the innovation is sort of outside of government. And the way for government to really take advantage of it is to change a little bit their relationship to these sectors, but also to understand that there's more and more emphasis placed, I think, on reference data locally. If these are global models and if these are consumer technologies available all over the world, the productivity lies in how do you localize the hardware and the AI solution, right? And how do you develop really customized reference data for your use case. Now, in private sector applications, that reference data might be a proprietary good. A business might develop a database of critical crops that they want to provide monitoring services for agriculture and then commercial crops, and that's fine. But when it comes to something like disaster risk management, we're often talking about public assets, and we're talking about a public good capability to be able to monitor disaster risk and to be able to have rapid and efficient damage assessment after an event. So in that situation, I see drones and the accompanying AI models that use drone data putting a lot more emphasis on what is critical infrastructure, what are the physical traits and other kind of characteristics that we need to be very specialized at measuring, and turning these into national reference data sets. So, you know, the example I gave yesterday from the Caribbean was about hurricane vulnerability. And in many of these small islands, the national GIS unit will be one person. And the traditional approach is they've been requesting for the World Bank to have an external consultant provide a national base map, a national update to the building footprints, to then characterize those buildings for vulnerability. And this is sort of, the solution's coming from abroad, it's coming when there's money, it's coming when they ask for it. It doesn't necessarily come just before the hurricane, so you have a very recent base map that then helps you with the damage assessment. So with the drone and the data program that we did, we really helped national GIS units build reference data that is specific to their housing stock, particularly the low-income housing stock, which looks different in a place like St. Lucia than it does in Florida, and how to then engage digital communities to build models around classifying that stock with new imagery. And I was asked yesterday, so I should mention this, you know, what are those models? Are they open source? Can they be reused? I'm sorry I didn't have the actual slides of the project, but if you go to GitHub and you Google Caribbean resilience AI and World Bank, you should find on GitHub a two-step classification tutorial. So there is a segment anything model, which is around the geometry of the roof types and trained with Caribbean data. And there's a tutorial and there's a code, and you can use that. And the material classification is a convolutional neural network model that is also available that you can follow. So it's two different machine learning processes. But I think the key point here is the reference data becomes a public good from the state or from the government GIS. The models are sort of commoditized, but that's where a lot of the innovation happens. And how do you train it? How do you apply it? How do you qualify it? And we're really trying to, as far as possible, make that an open source process, the documentation, the models, the underlying data sets where we can. So I think governments need to think about what is a public digital good and what should remain a private digital good, and double down their scarce resources on really helping those reference data sets then be a foundation for that ecosystem, and drone users will come up with really good applications and productivity boosts and so on. So the relationship changes, the digital strategy changes, and I think it's a very exciting future. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Edward, on your answers. So, Robotics Association Nepal has also been working in many sectors around disaster management and also in development planning and climate resilience. So how can we support the development of more AI-driven drones solutions in Nepal and in South Asia?
I think the first step is to definitely understand the development of the technologies that are there. And I think the technologies that are there, like Gen AI, especially how like NVIDIA has come across Omniverse and Cosmos, I think, the need for the data that has reduced. And we may not need to train hard now. We may not need to make excuse that we don't have data. So we need to, understand what kind of other technologies that are there, such as Cloud Brain, as Uttam presented, Swarm Intelligence. So I think the cloud brain concept, which already brings together the super intelligence, we need to identify different applications on how we can have a multi-drones that can work together already on the field. There are already also technologies that can directly go under the water and also fly, such as TGI fish that is developed in the Singapore. Why I'm giving this reference is, I think from Robotics Association of Nepal's perspective is, first to transfer the knowledge back to the community. That's how we started. That's how we grew our community. That's how we started training the community. And that's where, when we give the right skill sets to the community, they will start exploring the different avenues. And I think the examples that are set right at the moment gives the direction. Definitely, from Robotics Association of Nepal, we have been constantly working with the Ministry of Education, Science and Technology, Ministry of Information, Communication and Technology. Now the Ministry of Education, Communication, Information Technology has come up with Digital Nepal Framework 2.0. And unfortunately, it doesn't mention about drones. And I was really surprised that they don't see drones as a Digital Nepal Framework's one of the key components, because one of the important solution or tools to digitize Nepal is drones. And that's where we are coming on board, because I'm also the AI policy committee member, and today I'm also going for this meeting where we will discuss about these opportunities that are lacking in their national planning. Definitely in terms of the disaster response, back in 2016, 17, we worked with this NDRRMA, and then we make them understand that, okay, the mapping is one of the important solutions that can help, make a quick response. During COVID-19, we started this drone rapid response team where we try to connect together all these drone pilots. Now, definitely, different platforms has came up, but I think Robotics Association of Nepal has played a good role. For the moment, to make the intervention directly into the ground, the structural foundation that lies is a robotics club in the engineering colleges. And in the robotics club, we empower these human resources. And I think we need to go together with them with the latest of the technologies, definitely with the drones. We had them piloting training back in time, and we do trainings a lot. I think that's where the intervention can be there. And the first and foremost things which from Robotics Association of Nepal and the community that we are together here is to also be able to represent in the global stage. Definitely it's a South Asian forum, but to be also on the global stage and to bring those technology directly into the ground, just like the fly cart that came into here in Nepal and now being implemented into the Mount Everest. Thank you.
Thank you, because you already mentioned earlier around government intervention and government's roles as well. And I would like to ask Mr. Edward Anderson, in terms of global challenges in integrating AI in disaster response, what are the key barriers and challenges of using drones for big data and analytics, and how can international agencies and government address the issues around data bias, regulations, etc.?
Yeah, thanks for that question. So, I mean, AI hallucinates, it's not perfect, right? So we put out a paper about 3 years ago looking at the ethical use of AI in disaster risk management. If you search World Bank AI and disaster risk management, you should find it. And it sort of identifies 8 different types of bias that the model can have, starting with the selection bias in your training data. So there's a lot of learning and knowledge sharing that I think we need to do to help users not glorify this technology, but understand its limitations, understand how to set up these models and these systems correctly. And there's many different kinds of bias that you can introduce inadvertently. But then there's also, in a sense, system dependency or explainability and trust. The model might be right, but you may not trust it because you don't know why it's right. So there's issues around that I think the whole world is wrestling with. how do you qualify an AI model? You know, how do you assess its accuracy? And often we do it relative to humans, which works in areas where humans are very good, but we have in a lot of disaster situations a lot of human error too. When we use humans to classify damage states of buildings, they're not often in agreement with each other that much. So it's important also to understand, I think, your domain, what the state of sort of accuracy is in that domain by humans, to then understand how AI can support that, improve on it or not, and how you might go about validating. So I encourage you to look at that knowledge paper. I think it's called The Ethical Use of AI in Disaster Risk Management by the World Bank. It has a lot of technical explanation for the different steps of constructing a model. But the general point is that I think AI is augmenting kind of local knowledge and expert knowledge. And we shouldn't lose sight of that and just apply AI blindly, right? We need to implement it in conjunction with where we have high confidence that we know how to measure those outcomes. So I'll just leave it there for now.
Yeah. So we talked about data bias and regulations as well. So I want to ask Mr. Mrinal Pai, as the exclusive distributor of these AI drones, what has been the main regulatory challenges that you have faced in terms of integrating AI in drone technologies, and how are you navigating those hurdles?
Sure. When it comes to regulations, I think Edward summed up the issues around AI regulations well. What we see in South Asian market, I think the challenge is largely more around drone regulations than it's just AI regulations. I think technology, what was true 10 years ago, what's true even now, is that technology is definitely leading the regulations, right? Regulations is always catching up to the technology. It's true even now. But I think a couple of things are happening in all the markets in South Asia. One is that the government has now become more cognizant of the applications and the potential benefits of the technology, right? We have seen most countries in this market going from banning drones to being skeptical about drones to now really promoting, being one of the main adopter user of this technology themselves, and gradually but definitely opening up regulations, airspace to drones. And I think what's also been a realization for regulators has been that whatever regulations you come up with, right, including, say, airspace management, segregation, registration, it's easy to bypass any of this for anybody, right? Given that drones are just putting together of common technologies, right? It's easy to put together a drone, right? This used to be a hobby technology just a decade ago. And so the way to look at regulating airspace is also to look at installing counter-drone measures, anti-drone measures, and that's a necessity. And just having a drone regulation will not really solve the core issue for the regulator to manage airspace. And I think this realization is more and more coming. With that, I think directionally, even though I think operationally, all of us as market operators would love easier, simpler regulations. But I think directionally, we are headed in that direction.
Thank you so much, Mr. Mrinal. So we talked about challenges as well, and I want to ask Ms. Nisara Jasinghe around what can be the adaptive measures that we can do to overcome all the challenges and hurdles that our fellow panelists have already mentioned as well.
In my experience, I think one of the most biggest challenge is the lack of clear regulations, and as well as along with the limited access to relevant high quality data, and as well as there is a shortage of technical expertise as well. And the other thing with the AI based approach, that we can't just apply the AI model for our data set, which is developed by another country, because our vegetation pattern, our landscape is totally different from the other countries. So that means we have to develop models which is suitable for our area and our country. So we should encourage, and we should share, we should support to open data sharing, and we should encourage the research to develop models which is suitable for our context, and as well as we should give more opportunities for the local professionals to grow and learn regarding this field. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you everyone for your beautiful answers as well. So opening up the floor for any questions that we have from the audience. Please raise your hand so that one of the volunteers, yes, that's a question.
Hello. I have a question. There is an organization in Nepal currently working on technical education and vocational sector, which is called CTVT. And they are planning to develop a course related to drone technology, or the drone surveying and robotics kind of field. And as far as I know, I don't think there is currently any formal education which provides course related to drone. So they are trying to develop a short-term course in Nepal. Like they have been providing different technical education related to civil engineering, surveying, and various other fields. But as far as now, there is no such formal education related to drone in Nepal. So they have contacted me about what kind of course or what kind of curriculum should be developed by CTVT. And I just want to know from you that what do you think will be the type of the course? Like, will it be aligned to the application of drone technology or the robotics side, or the duration? What might be the duration of the course, like from some hours to months, or even the diploma course of 3 years? What do you think will be the best like suggestion from your side? Thank you.
Yeah, so I guess this question can be answered by both Vikas and Uttam as well in terms of the courses being developed in the country.
Yeah, thank you for that question. I'll try to answer it based on a recent experience I had. So we recently led the Nepal drone ecosystem study. And during that study, we looked into 4 different sectors: how academia in Nepal is using drones, how the private sector is using, how the government, and how the policy scenario is. And during that study, we found out that like multiple companies in Nepal are designing their own curriculum. A lot of it is based on what India has done in terms of like the drone curriculum. But on the government side, there has been no any certified kind of the curriculum that was developed. But recently, there is another project that started, and they are working together with the Civil Aviation Office and other government agencies to develop curriculum around drones in Nepal. And based on my knowledge, they are working on 3 different kind of curriculum. The first curriculum is related to drone flights. So, you know, like it's around drone piloting and how you handle the drone. The second curriculum is around drone data analytics. So it could be like a few weeks course that teaches people around how do you make use of data into different sectors. And then the third curriculum is related to how do you repair and maintain the drone? Because one of the major challenges in Nepal has been more than 1,700 drones have been imported in the country in last 5 years, but we do not have certified repair and training centers. So there are like 3 different kind of curriculums that I think is currently being designed together with 5 or 6 academic institutions in Nepal. And there is already an organization, Dronacharya and Ernst & Young, who are in the hall also. So maybe you can like talk to them afterward and learn more about the process. But particularly talking about CTVT, so we also had a couple of meetings with them from the Nepal Flying Lab. So one of the things that they are trying to do is, instead of doing an academic curriculum on drone, they are more focused on like vocational training, like, you know, short courses that get certified by CTVT. So I think by the time Dronacharya and Ernst & Young team, together with the World Bank and Civil Aviation, completes this project, I think we are going to have these 3 different set of curriculums.
I think I would like to add to that. Definitely for the professional drones, as Uttam mentioned, recommendation is good. But I think for the DIY drones, for the innovation side, we need to also have a course curriculum on the assembling of the drones, assembling the drone parts. That's where the innovation comes, what you want to design for the country. And definitely from the CTBT perspective, it's more aligned to the jobs. So professional drones for the videography, image processing, that's perfect. But I think it's also important if you could design 3-4 days of the course where you help these youths assemble the drones. And definitely for the piloting, it definitely takes time. So for that, you might have a activity plan where they do 1 hours of piloting practice, and then that goes for maybe a month. So with all setups that are needed. But definitely, I think there has to be a consultation from the CTVT as well, because as Uttam mentioned, there are organizations who are trying to do the drone certification programs, and definitely the drones-related courses are also being introduced into the engineering colleges. So something to discuss more and then fix the planning.
Yeah, thank you so much, because I would also like to ask if Ms. Lafifa has anything to add as the academic expert in the panel.
Yeah, the answer is already given. I would like to add that like 5 to 10 years back, it was like that only the students who are in the technology field, they actually worked with this type of technology. But nowadays, the scenario is all completely changed. So from whatever discipline you are, so you need to be equipped with this type of technologies. So I think it's really important to be technology equipped for all disciplinary students to survive in these days.
Yeah, thank you so much. So wrapping up the plenary session that we have here today. So we started with a very beautiful presentation and analogy from Uttam around the drone being a living organism, and body being the robotics, brain being the data, and intelligence being the AI. And we also got to talk about the academics around the drone technology and AI-powered drones, and also got into different applications, starting overall application in terms of, also in terms of disaster, in terms of climate, in terms of private and public applications of things. And we also got to know around the challenges of the drone technology, and what public, government, and all the general audience here can do around the topic of mitigating those challenges and overcoming those. We have understood that this is a very upcoming and very new technology, but has a very diverse sort of applications in all different areas. And taking in the notes from all of this, I also want to ask if Uttam has anything to add to the entire plenary at this point.
Being very mindful about the time, I'll try to keep it within a minute. Most of the things have already been covered, but just like, we started working in Nepal in the geospatial sector since 2014. And one of the biggest challenges, I think, not just in Nepal, but in the whole South Asia, is there is no problem with use cases and pilot projects. We have hundreds of them. Even in our company, we have like hundreds of use cases and projects, whether it's drone, AI, blockchain, or any other new technologies. I think the main challenge lies in how do we institutionalize these sort of new technologies, particularly in low-income countries. And Edward earlier mentioned the main secret sauce of how do you integrate technology is you integrate it with the business process of the government. So I think, like, taking this opportunity that we all are here from the South Asia, I think we all need to work on something regional, which may not be a formal entity, but these regional associations then working together to create proper level data set for the South Asia region, because we have like similar kind of disasters. And with the proper leveling data sets, we can solve the problems with the issues that we talked about earlier, like, whether it's damage assessment or building extraction or others. That's one point. And I think the second thing is there should be more co-learning among the countries. And instead of starting something again in Nepal, there might be a lot of things that has already happened in India or Sri Lanka. So instead of starting it from scratch again, I think we need to like have this more co-learning between the countries so that we can together unpack the potential the technology has.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Uttam. So I guess this entire forum also is a call for collaboration between all the countries, all the delegates, all the people in the audience who are also from private, public, government, and different sectors. I think this can be a ground for different sort of collaborations and scaling up whatever has been happening in South Asian and global markets. Thank you, everyone, for the wonderful remarks and wonderful opinions on this topic. So in terms of wrapping up the entire session, thank you very much, and we call it a wrap as well. And to end the session and also provide a token of love to all the panelists that we have here today, along with speaker Uttam as well, I would like to invite Tanuja Pokhrel, Undersecretary of Ministry Culture, Tourism and Civil Aviation, for handling over the token of love. Thank you. So firstly, Mr. Uttam. And Ms. Nisara. Mr. Edward Anderson. Engineer Vikas Gurung. Professor Lafifa Jamal. Mr. Mrinal Pai. And Ms. Sadia Habib. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, everyone, for being a great audience to this session. Oh, yeah, okay. Photo. We're taking a picture.